Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master this evening. This evening, we're continuing on with our ongoing campaign, playing Paizo Publishing's very cool Pathfinder 2nd Edition, set in Greg Gillespie's very cool Barrowmaze complete setting. And with me tonight are the stars of the Barrowmaze campaign. I'll go the order. I'm going to go reverse order that I got you guys on the screen here. So first up, we've got Arlen.
Hi, I'm Arlen, and I am playing Sir Yvain. He is a paladin of Arcantral and survived the Black Knight.
Yes. Next up is Dave.
Hey everybody, I think I'm playing West tonight. West Littlefoot, Halfling Ranger. And I'm not normally this discombobulated, but yeah. So, stay weird. Stay weird.
Nice. Next up is John.
Hey everybody, I'm John. I'm playing Drook, the bounty hunter druid who recently lost his dog. So he's a little sad.
It was a rough session on Friday. Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl. I'm playing Valeros, a mercenary, so first level fighter, who's joined this stalwart band.
Isn't your character named Sorolov?
Saralov, yeah. What did I say, Valera?
You did. Some impressive dyslexia. So
But it is, it is Valera spelled backwards.
Carl, I don't want to worry you, but you seem to have a cat on your head.
Oh yeah, that's Peanut.
Hi, Peanut. And last but not least, it's George.
Hey, I'm George. I am playing Raven, who doesn't give his last name because he knows when you're a bounty hunter, sometimes the bad guys come after you. He's also a first level fighter, and he's been off trying to track down his target, who everybody knows, obviously, Bingle, the famous. So he's gonna rejoin the group and find out what's going on. And it sounds like everything went out great last time.
No, so well, let's let our two surviving heroes, because Werbin, unfortunately, Werbin's player is not able to join us tonight, but Sir Yvain and Drook had an epic last session. Whew.
Indeed.
What happened last time, guys?
Well, innocents died, and the Black Knight got away.
Well, that is the conclusion. You're putting the cart before the horse.
So,
Very concise.
so basically, what went on is that we had, I can't remember exactly how it started, but we got a note. Sir Yvain got a note that said to come to the Split Pine at midnight to find the enemy or something like that. And so we found out what the Split Pine was because Werbin had found this weird a tree that had been hit by lightning and kept growing, and grown into it was a goat's skull, and there's an altar to Orcus there, and it was all sorts of badness. So then we went out in the night to go meet our foe. And our foe turned out to be a giant a knight in black armor with a mace and all sorts of special spells and stuff, who was leading this boy who got the business end of the mace some point during the battle, as did Drook's wolf companion.
Do you remember what the mace looked like?
I remember that it took on the aspect of the person's face that it was about to hit or attack.
Yeah.
It was modeled after Orcus's own weapon.
Yes, a big skull head to the mace. But you guys seem to have fought him to the point, or her to the point, of fleeing, where it fled off, leaving you guys barely standing. And Drook, I think, he's currently sitting at Wounded 2 as well. Wounded 3! Oh my god!
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was on death's door when Sir Yvain saved me.
It was a tough fight, made all the harder because, unfortunately, Sir Yvain turfed a save right at the beginning of the fight, and then turf the reroll, so he was blinded for nearly the entire fight.
Wow.
But he still managed to do some damage.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we're going to do, guys, and that new shield that you received from Karg Barrowgut was actually broken. It's not destroyed, but it's currently in need of service. The straps have all pulled loose from the actual from their moorings. So we'll pick up with I think you guys had all saw that this figure went racing off into the night. It had summoned its dark power. Ooh, and it summoned a hound as well too.
Yeah.
And created this enormous sphere of darkness, and then fled off into the night. I love how the music gives me accidental tie-ins.
Yeah, perfect.
I'd rather be lucky than smart. Okay, so I think we pick up with Sir Yvain. You have been the primary adversary for this thing. You're staring out in the darkness with your low light vision and the hooded lanterns that you guys had uncovered. I think in the fracas, one of them has been knocked over. You guys, I don't recall you actually unhood, revealing them. You guys have been fighting in kind of the darkness for the last little while. Mm-hmm. But we'll say that one of them is out, so you can sort of see a little bit off into the night shrouded woods. And what you can see is really just the trees rustling at this point. Your adversary has completely fled, and you are... Tell me how you're feeling.
Feeling kind of mixed emotions. Obviously, letting the boy die was not part of the plan, and not killing off the bad guys also less than optimal. But we did at least damage the altar, or the goat skull or whatever, hurt the tree basically.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're, sorry, go ahead, John.
Droop is not looking very happy right now. His rage has bled away into sorrow, and he's over there just mourning his dog.
Sure.
Getting ready to bury him in the snow.
Okay. So. Werbin is remarkably quiet at this point. He's exhausted all of his spells trying to down that foe to no success. I think he was the one who got scorched when he hit the tree, wasn't it?
Oh, that me and Sir Yvain.
No, that was us two.
Oh, that was you two. Okay, yeah.
Sword. Yeah.
Right.
That's what put me down to wounded 3.
Oh, as it blew up in your face. Oh, God. I love the critical failure, critical success aspect of this game. It's great.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so what are you guys doing? You look, it appears your foe. For those who are listening at home, we did a little bit of discussion about what was going to happen tonight on the Discord channel. So we've got, it seems like our heroes have come up with a plan. So what do we see? What do we see as it becomes, the pounding of your heart, in the rushing of blood in your ears, the labored breathing that is forming thick clouds of condensation amongst you.
I think the sound of that heart pounding starts to get louder and louder, and you realize it's coming from outside your body, and it's Raven running up like, okay, I made it. What did I miss, brother?
So, what are you guys doing? You are alone at the... Werbin looks over, and I think he says that simply there are tracks.
Yep.
But he doesn't sound terribly enthusiastic about following those.
I am not terribly enthusiastic about following them either. I'm thinking that what we do is we head back to Helix, do our best to recover, and then come back out here in the morning or noon or whenever tomorrow when it's bright out and see what we can't analyze about the fight and things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Towards that, can I tell with any degree of accuracy what the weather would be like in the next 24 hours?
Do you have the, what is it, detect weather spell?
No. I was just thinking more of knowledge nature for the area.
It's pitch black and it's dark, so I mean, you know it's going to
I
be
know
cold.
it's cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that.
I'm just trying to wonder if it's going to snow and obscure the tracks.
That is a good question. Let me, it's worth looking up the spell then. Let me just see. I could be confusing it with other things. On Saturday night, my son and I played 5e. We finished making his character for Guilds of Ravnica and we started playing. But in making his character, I was helping him select his spells, and I realized I'm currently running 3 different versions of D&D, and in each of them the spells are substantially different. So I'd be running through and I'm like, okay, well this spell, here, this one, it does, well actually hold on, I don't know if it does that in this edition. Let's look it up again.
The mistake I made all the time when I switched to Pathfinder from the 3rd edition.
Yeah.
What do you mean it works like that? No, it doesn't.
Well, and every OSR game has made their own kind of variations on random spells, so you never know
Right.
which is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kev makes house rules.
Fucking
That's
Kev. Curse that handsome devil.
I don't see detect weather.
I wonder if it's a ritual. 'Cause they-
Raven's gonna go to Sir Yvain and say,
oh yeah,
altar-
you're absolutely not here.
I'm not here.
No.
Okay. Good to know. That makes it easy because bad things are about to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is happening in the middle of at midnight or shortly after midnight in the middle of the things in the north. So
Okay.
and they were careful
Okay.
not to leave any trace. Like they snuck away from the thing to make sure, because they didn't know
People
who
like
this
me
person
didn't
was.
follow. Yeah.
Mr.
Smart.
Raven and Wes are probably just sharing a drink over at the tavern in Helix.
That sounds good. Yeah. No, I'm following up on leads.
Zorlong,
like
too.
Control weather is the only ritual I see that's
Yeah.
close, but
So, you know what? I mean, I think in daylight I would let you. Well, hell, fuck it. Let's make a roll. Let's see how. I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of the critical success, critical failure. Give me a nature roll. Let's see how you do. 21. Okay, let's see here. 21 is enough to hit a master or an expert level, and I think an expert could tell whether or not there is going to be. So let me.
about as accurate as a weatherman, eh?
Yeah, and how'd you like to be a weatherman? Go to school for 4 years to be right 20% of the time.
You don't have to go to school for that.
You do-
Gotta go to school for to get paid for it, though.
Isn't there a broadcasting? I mean, they have broadcasting degrees too, don't they? Or
Oh yeah,
diplomas?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or you
I'm
could be
sure.
really good at your job and get let go without any notice for.
Well, that's the other end of the spectrum.
Okay,
You
give me
actually know what
a
you're
D12 roll there, Druk. Let's see.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty good out of 12.
You know what? It actually so similar. So it's cold but wetter. So it is going to snow.
Okay, so Druk sighs heavily and says, I hate to say this, but if we don't follow those tracks, there's a good chance they won't be there in the morning or in the afternoon.
Oh, did we lose Arlen?
My internet's having lots of trouble.
Oh,
tonight
okay, yeah.
For whatever reason, but I'm still sort of here.
I can hear you.
Yeah, the hangouts work, but I guess it's roll 20.
Roll 20, dropping people like flies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are succeeding in their
Just
stealth checks.
getting ahead of Kev.
Yeah. Can't hit me if you can't find me. Okay, so that's what Druk has to say. You kind of can sense that like there is this. The ice fog is obviously hanging around in here as well too, and you can just feel it in the weather, feel it in the air that it is going to come down. And you know what? I'm going to give you a hero point for that because that's a pretty fucking smart use of your character's abilities. So
play with a hero point, or
what's that?
we start playing with a hero point?
Yes, everyone starts with one hero point as well.
Okay.
Okay.
You always go
I will
down to
say-
one.
That's one of the things I really like about the skill system is those levels, and that makes sense. You could do different things if you had more training.
Totally agree.
And
Yeah.
skill.
It makes it easy for it provides you one way of just having a flat these are the levels of expertise, but also still let the increasing numbers still keep things competitive by having the contested DCs.
And the wording also is helpful because understanding what somebody who has legendary skill versus expert, I get it,
Yeah.
intuitive idea. So it's
Yeah,
very cool.
totally.
So me being wounded that heavily, does that mean I'm fatigued during exploration mode?
No, unless you actually get fatigued,
Okay.
then no. Like fatigue is a specific condition that you get from certain things, like say cruel DM travel mechanics.
So
Well, that'll never happen.
against Drook's better wisdom, he'd rather just take his dog to town and bury him or something
Sure.
in the kid's body.
Yeah, of course.
He's going to suggest that we follow him and try and put him out of his misery before he gets too far away, because he can't run forever. And I am a tracker.
Okay.
That's what I'm good at.
So, Sir Yvain, you have a broken shield that would take 10 minutes to fix.
I can be convinced not to go, but that's...
Yeah, I think we're better off. I mean, even if it snows, I think we're better off hoping to get lucky tomorrow than we are hoping to get lucky tonight. Because this thing can move faster than us, and it seems to be unimpeded by the darkness in a way that we are significantly more impeded. And I think realistically, we're better off coming back in the morning and just hoping that there's enough left to track it to its lair or whatever it is than going after it tonight.
Drook, so is Warbin's character still technically there, but not playing tonight?
Yeah.
Drook looks over at Warbin and is like, if somebody could harry him long enough that he doesn't get to rest, we might stand a better chance when we rest and find him. I don't know if Warbin can do that.
So the way going on how Steve played Warbin extremely conservatively last time. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like he really was careful about not getting him involved in fights, which is honestly very unlike Steve. So I think that the challenge related to that, I don't know what was going on in or Steve was feeling was going on in Warbin's mind, but it does seem that he was really not keen to engage with him. Because it took a great deal of convincing even to get him in to help with the flanking with Sir Yvain.
Okay.
Right, and then as soon as that opened up, he fled again.
The last time Warbin played, he was taken down. He was one of the people on the ground bleeding out.
Right.
When Badonk and West were dragging people back to Helix.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense as to why he'd be so, this has been a lot of times that he has nearly died. And Droog, I mean, like, God, of everyone, you're the one who's kind of but I mean, it fits with this tough, bounty hunting half orc to be, like, we can do it.
He doesn't want to do it, though.
No, yeah.
Just acting that way.
So you can kind of tell, I guess, why don't we do this, guys? Sir Yvain and Droog, give me a perception rolls, will you? Okay, so Sir Yvain, Droog, you can't pick up anything from this, but Sir Yvain, you can tell that neither of your companions are, particularly enthusiastic about pursuing this thing any further. Warbin says, that the tracks we can follow. There are tracks, and Droog makes a suggestion, but just the tone of his voice and the enthusiasm or the lack thereof, maybe the ragged quality to his voice just tells you, like, there's just when your party is tanked out, and they seem to be at that point.
No, that's even without the perception roll, I think I could have told you that. No, I'm going to kind of make an executive decision that we're not going to go following in the night.
So, Droog is going to carry Hair Dog back.
Could I... Droog wants to make the suggestion that we take 10 minutes to recenter ourselves and then head on back in case we encounter something on the way back.
Yeah.
And he's going to offer a prayer to Hearn, the one god he gives lip service for, to, harry that Black Knight as long as he's in the forest, just so we can bring retribution.
Sure.
So... Plus, he's got to get Hair Dog ready to go and whatnot. Figure out how to carry him. No, it's a role-playing thing. I don't really expect her to do anything.
Okay.
Well, so the question is spending 10 minutes here first and being exposed for longer versus heading back as quickly as we can and being exposed for less time, right?
Still 3 hours to get there, though. So
Yeah, seems like it makes sense to me to recover here, but I'm just thinking through kind of.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you want us to announce what we're?
Sorry, no. I was distracted by a fucking thing. Sorry.
No.
So,
No,
what I need is so during your break, then. Sorry, Druk is going to refocus. Is that what you're doing as well?
I'm going to do a medicine check, but I can do so because I'm an expert. I can do treat wounds at DC 20 instead of 15 to heal 2d8 plus 10 instead of 2d8.
Yes. Okay. So why don't you give us a who are the two you're healing? Warbin's actually only taken 7 points.
Yeah,
of
so
damage.
I'm healing Warbin regular, but healing me with the DC 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So this will be for me. I'm gonna use a hero point there.
Man.
Good opening salvo.
Yeah.
There
Nice.
you go. There
That's
you go.
much better. And then this one for Warbin at DC 15.
Nice.
Oh, look at that.
15. So
Okay.
that's a crit then too.
Yeah.
On Warbin. So I'll put Werbs back up to full. And then I need, let's see here. Whoops. I seem to have had my cord over my my keyboard. Okay, so excuse me. So you treat everyone's or the two wounds. Druk, you refocus yourself up here, and you guys are going to make the trip or the last leg back. So what I need from you two is fortitude saves, please, and also tell me what positions. What are you doing? Because this is now traveling at probably around closer to 1 in the morning. You won't get back till about 3 or 3:30. So.
Well, I'm going to be carrying Hair Dog mostly under one arm and then the lantern in the other, and then counting on Sir Yvain to watch out for things.
Okay.
Yep.
So.
Sounds good.
Fortitude. There.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the watch.
On the watch, okay. So you're driving down the thing, and then Druk, I'm sorry, what were you doing?
Suppose survival to get us back there?
You don't need to. You're just following the
Okay.
path. So,
Well, I'll keep a lookout too as much as I can.
okay. So let's drive this thing down. Okay. All right. So, yeah, and you pass the fortitude save. So, in spite, and I think the 10 minutes that you guys had, Warbin uses like some, pulling some branches down, and then uses druid craft to craft a what is it, like a travois to bring the boy back.
Oh, I was imagining that I could, since he's pretty small, like boy size, I could just have him over one shoulder.
Yeah, but that would be. I mean,
well, I'm not going to do that walking into town. I'm going to, take him down and carry him,
yeah.
in front of me.
Even I mean, you're even as strong as you are, like carrying 70 or 80 pound kid for that long,
Okay.
right
Yeah.
through the snow. And also, I mean, like his head was bashed in. If you've got his head hanging loose down there, like
Yeah, okay, I didn't think about that part.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a little bit of brain on the back of your. Gee. All right, so then, guys, it is, boy, it is very, very early when you're going to make your way back in. Let's cut back to the earlier that evening in the Brazen Strumpet. So, that evening, I think, is after our stalwart heroes have taken off. The one thing I'd like to know is, okay, so there's Druk, yeah, and there's Werby Werb's not here tonight. Put him in the not play Hair Dog. He ain't playing no more. That's Sorlov. There you go. Raven, where are you? Right over there. Boy, Raven and Sorlov, it's like you guys were separated at birth.
Yeah, exactly.
So Yvain and Wesley. Now, Wes, we have had at least 1 day pass so far, so I'm assuming that during the downtime, you've healed. What's your Constitution bonus?
2.
+2, so 2 times, and you're 4th level now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 times 4 is 18. Give yourself 16 hit points back. And then you have your nature thing as well, right?
Yeah, I can do that hourly.
Hourly, okay. So let's assume that that heals what? 2, same as regular healing, right? So it's 2d8?
It's a treat wounds, yeah.
Yeah, it's treat wounds is 2d8, so that's on average about 9. So that would give you... yeah, I mean, a day's worth. Why don't you go ahead and put yourself back up to full then? Because it would, between the natural rest and your treating wounds, you would eventually get yourself back up to full.
And would I have gotten rid of my wounded 2 and sickened?
Yes, both of those would have been gone.
Oops.
Oh, the sickened. What did you get sickened from again?
The poison from the Dark Hunters.
Oh, right. Shoot.
But
Yes.
I was able to identify. I had like a super awesome roll on identifying the poison type.
Okay, so I forgot about that. Yeah, so actually that's what you've been doing. You've been laid up trying to fight this poison off. That's why you've been absent. Raven, what do you think what's been keeping you occupied the last little while?
Well, I've been doing some research, and I figured something out. The reason I haven't been able to find my target is I got his name wrong. So thankfully, I was out walking around, and I ran into these 2 guys in the middle of the night who were out practicing some animal husbandry, which I didn't realize you had to do late at night, but apparently there's a whole procedure where you have to put the cows to sleep. Anyway, they told me that they never heard of anybody named Bingle, but I got his real name. Bangle the Magnificent.
Yeah.
And that is why I have not been able to track this guy down. So I am super psyched to now have my first good lead since I've been in Helix.
I
So
am
I'm
totally
excited
in
to tell my
favor.
brother all about it, and I can't wait for him to come back after wherever he went off to, and I know he's gonna be excited for me.
Okay. All right, so you, I think you have, yeah, I think you ended up kind of when you guys got back from that ambush. You had said that you had some things to check out, and so here's what I'm saying is there is, you know how like in the 30s or the 20s and 30s that they would have like, you know, there's hobo markings and like, you know, hobo dead drops kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a similar thing amongst bounty hunters.
Oh, cool.
And so there's actually a dead drop for bounty hunters nearby. Because I mean, like if you have a big wanted poster up in the middle of the thing in a town like this, it's pretty easy to put 2 and 2 together. But if they don't know, you know, then if they don't know they're being hunted, then it's a little easier to actually, you know, catch your prey.
That's cool.
So in this particular town, you know, because and I think it's unique to this, and we'll say that it is, there's an old abandoned farmhouse that's about maybe 2 kilometers southwest of town, on the edge of the actual Barrow Moor itself. The moor seems to have spread out since that thing was abandoned. That's where you went, and then when you know, I think you ran into someone out there. Maybe that's who you, you know, who you got your info from.
Yeah.
You know, you found the thing. You're like, aha, here it is. Although maybe there's a rival bounty hunter who's been feeding you the wrong information the whole time.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, there's like a mustache drawn on everything. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not that stupid. Yeah, exactly. I'm not that stupid. I'm just they're taking advantage of my belief in the camaraderie among bounty hunters.
Absolutely. So you guys have, I think you finished up, and then you've made your way back to the Brazen Strumpet, and that evening, you know, you're waiting to hear from your or see your brother again, or your half brother, and he's unfortunately, you know, gone. Like he apparently Tacey tells you that he hasn't been in all night. I don't know where he's taken off to. And around that time is when you see your other colleague or your other companion, Wes, comes down, and he's finally got some color back in his face, and he's looking a little better. Wes, you think you've been sleeping for maybe 20 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, you have now shaken that sickened condition, though.
Hey, Wes, you're looking pretty good. How you feeling?
Oh, hey, Mr. Raven, sir. Well, I don't feel so good. Nope, not good at all.
You know what?
Days,
You need
I didn't do any drinking.
Well, maybe you need a drink. Maybe that's the problem. We'll hair the dog.
Dogs?
What do you think? Well, not really dogs, but more alcohol, basically.
There's a dog out by the front door. If you give him food, he'll like lick your hand.
That is good to know. I'm gonna make a note of that. But in the meantime, can I buy you a drink?
Sure.
I got some great news. I need to tell somebody.
Not at Mr. Skirk size, though.
Okay, I'll get you half size.
A little, like a Lucky Goblin size.
Happy to do it.
Speaking of Lucky Goblin, where's he been anyway? Strange.
It's almost like he's on vacation.
Yeah.
Must have taken all his innings and gone for a little trip.
Right.
I think what do you think, Carl? What do you think Sorolov has been doing?
Well, what happened after we found the stuff at the church?
So you guys were looking at you guys didn't find anything at the church. I think you guys were trying to search for information, and it was fruitless.
Right.
And then Sir Yvain had said there was something he was going to look up, and you're like, this seems above my pay grade. So you've been keeping yourself occupied, maybe like waiting to see if there's an opportunity to hire on.
Yeah, looking at the wanted postings, not wanted, the hire board.
Yeah.
Seeing if the caravan group that I used to work with has any more jobs.
Sure.
Board of Helix.
So, and I think that you've probably, do you think, guys? Do you think that that Sorolov would have gotten to know Wes or Raven?
Probably Raven.
Probably Raven?
Yeah, did we want to make a roll on the low fantasy gaming
sure.
table?
Let's do that. And we need to do that for Druk and for Raven as well.
Cool.
So what do we roll?
Give me a D20 roll, please. I really should just mark these in this book. I like this thing so much, I already backed the companion. He's kickstarting the companion to this as well.
Two. Roll twice because I don't know why.
Okay.
So, better.
Well, it gives us a couple options here. So let's see here. So you guys are the two options here for Sorolov and Raven is either lone survivors of a mercenary company destroyed in a recent engagement. So you're going to adapt that, just be like a caravan that was wiped out. Or alternatively, and if you guys came from further north, that would make sense. So you guys could have been like one of the humanoid hordes or one of the, like a stray giant band could have wiped out the things that you guys were involved with. That's why you're like, fuck it, we're leaving the prelacy of Midmark, we're coming to the Barrowmaze. Or alternatively, the other one is conmen, muscle, or other agents working closely with the best thief in all of Bogtown.
It probably seems like it must be the former. Right? Or Carl, what are you thinking? You'd have like an evil grin on your face.
The con man's kind of funnier because especially since we look so much alike. We could, we could almost be like twins.
Yeah.
If we run that game before, I don't know.
And that we could have been working for the guy, but not been in Bogtown potentially. We could have been, hired by him remotely and on our way down here.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. So then we'll talk.
Cool. So we traveled together to here, so we know each other previously.
Yeah. So I need to update it.
But
still.
Then you were like doing your bounty hunter stuff the last time. Yeah. And I found these other guys and.
Okay, so
I was trying to see how I could do the con, but one of them is too much of a goody goody.
Sorolov and
can do the you're a bad person thing.
So Sorolov and Raven, you each have a renown of 1 with the Shadow Hands.
Oh, that's good and bad.
Yeah.
Shadow hands are the ones that are okay.
Yeah, Shadow Hands are the Thieves Guild out of Bogtown.
Yeah.
So,
See, that's perfect.
and Druk, you would have a renown of 1 with the Cult of the Green Man.
Okay.
And Sir Yvain, so far, I think you already have a renown of 1
with the Church of Saint Hugh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wes, who is your? I know you got some renown.
Yeah, Wes had some renown with the elves.
Right, the Thornswild Elves. Right.
Yeah, he had warned the Bowyer Fletcher about what was coming, and he had closed up shop, finished Wes's bow, and then skipped town.
Yeah. Okay. He was in town recently, actually. Because we had a couple days ago. You've missed him thus far, but Valeron. I think Valeron was actually in the bar last night too.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually probably in there then when you guys at the time this scene is taking place. Druk, why don't you give me a D20 roll? Let's see what your connection is with Raven. 16. Explorers, herbalists, or surveyors of the northern regions of the sprawling Sunhorn Mountains. I think you guys actually did spend time in what do you call it? In and around Threshold, near the Prelacy of Midmark, because that's that's the setting for those who are uninitiated for the Forbidden Caverns of Archaea. And it's set in the northern reaches as well, too. So same region same general region as the Barrowmaze and as Highfell.
Cool. Okay, well, Druk isn't actually trained in medicine, so he might have been looking for some kind of medicine or herb.
Well, herbalists, I mean, that's the value you would have. Explorers and herbalists and surveyors, like that's all in your... Herbalist isn't apothecary. Herbalist is just someone who knows.
Okay.
Right. So...
I wonder how we would tie that together. Were you looking for poison or something?
No, I was on the run, so I need cash. So it was just a random job that I took because I had no bounties, nobody close to go after. So I just signed up when I saw the want ad for this expedition.
You know what it was? So, it was, how about this, guys? It was a, what do you call it? A merchant company that hired you to do a tally, like basically a survey of all their mining camps. So you went and were doing sort of a straw poll for where everyone, how many were in each place, and make sure they weren't destroyed or whatever. Oh, and maybe it was, yeah. This, and the thing is, that would have, I imagine you guys left that job because the growing threat of the giants in the north before they attacked Threshold. Maybe there were 1 or 2 camps that you found that were wiped out, and you were like, there's a lot of money to be made in bounty hunting.
Yeah, I've got enough problems. I'm going south.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay.
Cool.
So then, we see what do you call it, Sorolev. I think you're sitting with Raven as well too when Wes comes down into the common room, and this was I think it was a fairly busy evening as well too. You guys saw there was another group of adventurers that had actually made it into town. Card Barrowgut was tying one on as well, or actually no, I'm sorry, forgive me. This is the night before. This is so tonight it would actually be a little more low key. Or potentially. So, Wes is down, Raven and Sorolev. Wes, you can see Raven, but you don't, looking around the bar, you don't see Sir Yvain down here. So Tacey brings over your drink and puts it down in front of you. Are you feeling better, son?
Yeah, mostly better. I think the worst is over now. Poison's not good for you, but... Yeah. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, so long as you're trained in medicine, then you can take that. I think that's...
I'm trained in natural medicine.
No, you have to be trained in medicine.
That's what I was wondering, because
Yeah,
Natural medicine only allows you to treat wounds using your nature skill. It's not the same as medicine.
So that's the thing. So you couldn't, unless your character is trained in medicine, you can't take battle medicine. But what you could do is, if you have natural medicine where you can substitute it for that, I'd let you also take battle medicine and just use natural medicine as battle medicine. Does that make sense?
Basically, you roll nature instead of. Yeah.
So I can take battle medicine and use my natural medicine instead of medicine.
Exactly. So you need to have both feats. You need to have natural medicine, and you need to have the battle medicine feat.
Yeah, well, so battle medicine requires medicine as a training.
Right. And what I'm saying is that if you've got the natural medicine feat, that allows you to substitute nature for treating wounds. I'd let you do that and take that feat.
Okay, so because at 4th level I was going to look at the skill feat, and battle medicine is a skill feat.
Yeah. So that wouldn't be
under the medicine tree.
Oh, okay. Sorry, forgive me, Dave. I misread it. I thought you were trying to swap out the natural medicine feat for the battle medicine feat. No, sorry. I'm an idiot. I didn't read it correctly. So yes, you can absolutely do that.
Okay, I'm just double checking because it's natural medicine and medicine aren't exactly the same. They have some similarities, but
no. But because the only thing you can do with battle medicine is treat wounds, I'm fine with you having that.
Okay, so then I'm going to take that as my skill feat.
Awesome, and that makes sense narratively.
Yeah.
Well, given how many people have gone down in fights and no one's been able to revive them, Wes is like, I need to learn this. I need to learn this. As soon as I'm up and available, I'm going to learn that. Yeah. And I'm also going to learn how to start shooting at long distances because I'm tired of people being too far away from my bow.
Nice. Good call. Okay.
Swearing about that right now while he's drinking in the tavern.
Sure. So you've said that, and you're sitting with Sorolov, who I'm not sure you've actually met yet, and Raven, who you obviously met. It's Sir Yvain's brother.
Is Sorolov a half-orc?
No, Sorolov is a human. He actually looks an awful lot like Raven.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Mr. Raven, you have another brother?
You would think, but
Maybe.
in this case, no. Well, I like to. He's okay. We can let him in on that.
Yeah.
So I kind of.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, he's one of the good ones.
Oh, okay.
He's helped me out quite a bit.
Sometimes when we play cards, we switch, but like we stand behind, walk around, and then we switch. And so if we look alike, then one of us will know what the cards are the other people have. So
Why would you switch?
Because we look alike.
It's a tactical advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One person looks at the cards, and then we switch.
Oh, you switch cards.
Yeah, but somehow we keep losing, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you have a memory issue. Raven.
I don't play a lot of games. But,
his mother dropped him on the head one too many times.
two heads are better than one when collecting herb.
Yeah, kind of 1.5, really. When you add them together.
All right. So, what happens this evening? You guys have the evening before you. What do we think Wes, Sorolov, and Raven get up to? We know that Sir Yvain and Druk won't get back until very early in the morning if you guys are still up. What happens?
And this is the night that they left.
Yes, they would have.
Okay, great.
This chronologically, what's happened is they slipped out, I believe, at like 8 o'clock.
Okay.
But I think they were preparing before that so they appeared to be gone, and then they left town at about 8 o'clock, try and make it out to the, because it was 3 hours of travel to get out there. That's right, it was 3. It wasn't 2.5, it was 3. Because they got out there.
Raven is Sir Yvain's sibling?
That's right, we're half brothers.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm the younger one.
Maybe he thought that I was you.
Well, he's pretty smart guy, so.
Well, he left me in the church. I fell asleep. We were reading books. I can't read.
Oh.
So. And then I woke up and they were gone. So I came here.
The books were gone?
No, they were gone.
Oh, yes. Well,
they ditched me.
I mean, my brother has many important things to do. He is a servant. He's a champion of the gods.
He talks a lot.
He talks it very wisely. I listen to everything he says.
No, just a lot.
I just can't remember it all. It is a lot. It is a lot. But I wish I could speak to half the degree of knowledge that he can. So, but I'm not good enough. So, all right, I'm gonna bring everybody down.
Classic younger brother.
Exactly.
I never live up to him.
So, what do you guys?
Let's drink the doppelgangers and younger brothers.
That's right.
Okay.
Lassie, what do you think we should? We got. I mean, it's not that late. Is there anything going on, Wes? That we? I mean, it looks like you've been sleeping for like a couple of days.
I think this halfling's eating too much. Typical.
Oh, I did not wash my face. Oh, I didn't wash my face. Sorry. Yeah, I did. I was sleeping lots. No, poisoned.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yep.
Well, you're looking better now. Is there anything that we can follow up on that would impress my brother?
There's this house with bad people, but we couldn't establish who the bad person was. So we went to the church, but there are no bad people there.
Is there any other? You have no other clues?
To
follow up on?
Goat skulls in pens.
Interesting. Well, I'm up for pretty much anything. I'm in a really good mood. I'm feeling like this is a good night, and everybody's gonna have a great time.
Why are you such a good mood, Mr. Raven?
Well, to make a long story short, I have a major clue. It's a breakthrough. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, this bounty I've been chasing for quite a long time is
Bingle.
so close. Bingo. Well, okay, so I see why you say that. That's because I said bingo, but turns out totally wrong. Got that totally wrong. So what I found out through my network, I have a very competent network of fellow bounty hunters.
Oh, different.
Well, that's true. Well,
different network.
It's a little bit of a different one because these guys really keep me informed. They volunteered information. These guys are so nice. I can't believe they're bounty hunters. Anyway, turns out the guy's name isn't Bingo. It's Bengal the Magnificent, and they last saw him marching straight into the Barrowmaze. So that's going to be my next stop.
He's probably dead.
That's a game changer. You really bungled that up, didn't you?
Wait. Bungle? Wait, maybe they did say bungle. Was it bungle?
No, I meant like mixing up the letters.
Oh, yes, I know that word.
What if you would have hunted down like a Bingle, and it wasn't him?
I think I would get half the bounty. Isn't that how it works? Because it's close. I don't know. I haven't actually caught anybody yet, so I'm kind of looking forward to finding out what happens. But I know you get paid. I'm pretty sure.
Well, they were looking for something in the church, so they must have found something. So maybe we should go there and walk around it.
Maybe they need our help. My brother, if he needs help, I'm there for him.
It's probably closed, but we can walk around the grounds and maybe see where they went.
Wes, are you up for it, or how are you feeling?
This all sounds like a terrible idea to you, Wes. It says, I imagine it does at least.
I mean, we could all go there with like a drink, and it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I look to Wes because I respect his opinion, so I want to see what he's thinking about this.
Okay.
Where's Mr. Siri Bean?
Well, I guess you said he went to the church and investigated, and then maybe found something.
Went to the church, there were piles of books. Then when I woke up, they were gone.
Oh, yeah. Every time
we went to the church.
We should hire a bounty hunter to track him down.
Yeah, actually, that works out perfectly. We're bounty hunters.
You are a bounty hunter.
Yes, both of us together are bounty hunters. This is right up our alley, and we could get paid too.
I'm a tracker, but I'm not really a bounty hunter.
Well, I think you're an honorary bounty hunter.
Can you do that?
So we'll split it 3 ways. I'm pretty sure I have the power.
So
I think it's
we're gonna pay a bounty hunter. The bounty hunter is you, and then we're gonna split it 3 ways. Do you
wait. There's a bounty on Sir Yvain?
Apparently, and we could collect. So the 3 of us will split it.
A third, and then later on we can split it up in thirds, and when we get paid for finding Sir Yvain.
This is great. This is working out perfectly. I'm so glad it came to Helix.
Great.
Should we head out?
I'm gonna get paid to find my friend.
Okay, so what happens next, guys?
I don't want to know.
We all buy another drink.
Okay.
I think right? Drink and carry is allowed in this town, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we go to the church and walk around.
Okay. Why doesn't everyone give me a fortitude save?
You're not so great.
Well, I'm not drinking much. No way.
Oh, this is for wandering around in the cold for that long.
Oh,
Yeah.
walking around in the cold for a long time? Okay.
Yep.
Like it finds.
Fort is right in the middle.
No, I know it. It just for whatever reason it's slow today.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Nice. Yeah, so I mean, you guys spend the evening wandering around. Let's see. Is anyone trained in survival? Wes is obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots.
Wes.
And
Yeah.
I am as well.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Raven, give me a survival check first.
Okay, here we go. No, I drank too much.
No, yeah. And I'm trying to think if that's.
I'm looking at the stable instead of the church.
That's, yeah. So Raven is talking the entire time and kind of insisting on, like when you're looking at something, he steps basically in the tracks and is like, look, if you study this closely, Wes, look over here. Look over here, not where you're. So you're going to get a -2 to your your roll because he critically failed that.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Have no fear. West here.
Yeah,
That's
Wes
pretty
did. Okay, so here's Wes. Here's what you're able to pick up is that in the trail. And this is in the courtyard outside of the Shrine of Saint Yig, and then the graveyard around back. There's been several adults who have been wandering and kind of making their way around in the backyard, even as recently as yesterday. And you can see that there's also there's a rubbish pile that's been partially dug up. That also has a lot of footprints around it, too. Now, would you give me a... Let's see here. Give me a... I think society check.
Oh,
Please.
society?
Yes, please. Oh. Okay. So what I'm trying to is whether you would have picked up from your time, around here that they heaped up the rubbish. Remember the strange creature of earth and stone and root that attacked the shrine in the summer? Mm-hmm. They piled. You, Dave, know that they piled all the like when that thing was defeated, it fell down in a heap. They piled all that shit in the backyard as a pile of something. That's what this heap is, but Wes doesn't remember that. Or at least he hasn't put it 2 and 2 together just yet. But apart from seeing that those tracks are out there, none of the tracks, I can tell you that none of the tracks seem to lead further into the graveyard. None of them seem to lead directly from the graveyard, like into one of the 2 roads out of town. They all seem to return back to the common area. Or to the town square there, where the well is, where most of the buildings face. So there's not really a lot of information apart from that you guys gather from it from a day or an evening out there.
Another dead end. Well,
We could just go back to the tavern.
I think that's probably the best idea.
Okay.
Now, which way is that?
Guys, what is everyone's or type in chat, what are your perception bonuses?
West is 10.
Okay. Okay.
I have to say, Kev, this has probably been my favorite pre-gen ever played.
I'm so glad. You sort of got your mileage out of him too. It's funny, I mean, there's a good chunk of playing, RPGs is making your character and whatnot, but I think a lot of it also comes from developing the character. Because like Dave, we had like 3 people in our Star Wars campaign that all played pre-gens for the first session, and then just kept playing them throughout, and they played them till like 220 XP. So like they were around, and I mean they evolved into a totally different things and whatnot. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you've certainly made a a full-rounded character out of him. Okay. So then, let's see here. What happens for the rest of the evening? Would you guys still be up by 3 o'clock in the morning, or do you think you guys would have hit the sack?
No, we might have. If there's like a card game going on, maybe we'll try our con.
This time of year, probably not. Like it's unfortunately, like it's a tiny town that's in off season, so like there's really nothing going on in town unless. Like the most eventful thing that's happened the last little while was the taking of that kid, which sort of started spiraling all these other circumstances out of control, right?
So then probably to mess with the sick halfling, every time Raven talks, I'm going to say the same thing, and then sit slightly behind him so the halfling thinks he's seeing double.
I've seen Step Brothers.
Or a lot
Hello,
of
lady.
board, there's no con to be had. There's no fighting to be done. Unless we start a bar fight, but I don't know. I don't want to get the halfling hurt.
Don't let him break out those bar fight rules. You will regret.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is also, there's not really anywhere else to go. You get kicked out of here.
Yeah,
you're leaving town, so.
And we can go to Iron Guard. No.
Yeah. All of Carl's characters.
I think we're safer hitting the hay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bed, and I'm like half drunk, so I'm gonna like stumble up the stairs.
Okay. Well, again, like I guess, guys, like what I'm asking, like this is your characters don't know that these people are coming back, right? So unless there's some reason to think
he's bored and he wants to drink.
What's that?
Thorlov's going to stay up because he's bored and wants to drink.
Right, but does he do that every night? He stays up till 3 in the morning every night drinking? Because this is a night unlike any other. Or it's it's a night just like.
Right. Well, remember he took a nap during the day, so he's probably like.
Right, no, again, Carl, like I get that, but like there's what I'm saying is that
normally
yeah, like this is just like any other day. Like if your character keeps the hours that like
I mean it's like pub hours, right? So
yeah,
he'd stay up. It'd be like
Barrowmaze tomorrow, and you'd still be sleeping.
Yeah, he'd stay up until like,
Well, I mean, he is effectively living. He's got some money in his pocket right now. He's waiting for the next gig. He is kind of like fun employed right now, so maybe he is still sitting up. Sure.
I mean, you can make me roll something.
No. I buy it. Like, the more we talked about it, the more I'm like, well, no. I mean, this is kind of like, the college kid between getting out of class and finishing exams and starting the summer job kind of thing. So I can see why you'd still be up.
Get up for a caravan early in the morning.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's right. Because there's fuck all else to do. So sure. Yeah, you're sitting and nursing your beer, and Raven's hit the sack. Wes, what do you think? Do you think you would have been up still?
Nope, Wes is going to take some more anti-poison concoction that he's making up and go to bed.
Sure, okay. So then I think that what we see as it's about 3 in the morning, and Sorlov, you're sitting there, and maybe there is, let's see here. I think you're having an intense conversation with Karg Barrowgut's cousin, Gurn, and that's when the door to the and I think the only person in the left in the bar, like for staff wise, is Ygritte, the blonde northern girl who's working there, and she's asleep at the bar. Like she's sitting on some kind of thing, and she has her head down. She, if you guys need something, you just wake her up and she'll get something for you. But that's when the door gets kind of kicked open, and Sir Yvain and Wes come staggering in. Werbin has disappeared to elsewhere. So you guys look over, and I think that you see Sorlov like, well, why don't you guys, Sir Yvain and Druk, describe what they see as you guys come staggering into the Brazen Strumpet.
Well, Druk's probably all like torn out, with his furs all torn and blood all over him, and frozen little particles of flesh that he missed brushing off in the woods, and he just got a scowl on his face.
Yeah.
He's tired, weary, and just not in a good mood.
Sure. And so, and you know what? Maybe there's even a little bit of snow that started to fall as well outside, because you knew that the snow was going to be coming. So, Sir Yvain, what about you? What do we see on him?
I mean, I think Sir Yvain doesn't look a whole lot better. Maybe not. I don't know if Druk has any signs of he's limping or anything like that. Sir Yvain probably isn't that far gone, but he's definitely, especially you can see on his armor that it's just dented and beaten up and scratched. looks like he's,
Yeah. Okay. So they come staggering in. Sorolov, you can see that, like, clearly, I mean, no one comes staggering in at this hour, and they've clearly seen you the amount of adventuring parties that you have lost and been the sole surviving henchman. You can tell when someone's been in a fracas, and they certainly have been. The boy, I think you guys, well, I don't know, would it, like, I think it would have been left to the Shrine of Saint Yig to treat.
That's what I was thinking, is that we take the boy to the... before we deposit the boy, can we check to see if it's Tamsin or not?
Yes, you can. And it is not.
Okay. That's good. I mean, sort of.
Yeah. You don't recognize the boy. I mean, his face is, fortunately, because he was hit in the back of the head, his face is mostly intact. But
yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So, well, when you guys got back to town, would the first stop have been the Brazen Strumpet? Would it have been the Shrine of St. Yig? What do you think? You guys you would have had more than enough time to do some planning.
I think for Sir Yvain, it's definitely the Shrine of St. Yig, take the boy back. And
yeah, most likely I would have spent some time with Warben just talking back and forth, because he's the most experienced druid in the group, and
sure.
I've been through like hell, and then we would have told Sir Yvain I'd meet him at the tavern.
Okay. As soon as you guys get to the edge of town, Warben takes his leave as well, too, which is not unusual in your experience, with the limited experience you've had with him, Sir Yvain. But he, disappears into the woods very quickly. You guys make your way over to the Shrine of St. Yig, so we'll back up just a touch here. You get there, and there are no lights on in the tower at this time of night. You just bang on the door?
Yep.
Okay. Poo, 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 poo. And you see, after a very period of about maybe 5 minutes of doing the same thing periodically, you finally see the lights come on, and then you hear through the door, "Who is it?" And it's a woman's voice coming.
It's Sir Yvain. We have a casualty.
You hear chuk, 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 and that massive bolt you saw before that secures that door is thrown, and the door creaks out and open, and Sella is standing there, her robe clenched around, or kind of pulled around her, and she's a casualty. Who? Sir Yvain, what are you doing here at this hour? How did you have a casualty at this? And she looks down and sees the boy's body, and she says, "Oh my God." She looks up at the two of you, and she's like, "You didn't."
No, this wasn't done by us.
Yeah, Druk almost gives her a half scowl for even suggesting it, but he kind of catches himself and looks away.
Well, is he? And she kind of looks down, and she says, "He's dead."
That's what casualty means.
Casualty actually means injured and dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, not Druk.
Okay. This, So she looks down and she says, "Well, how did this happen?"
There was a force of evil in the Blackened Forest leading this boy along, who killed him when we ambushed the evil creature.
What? Look, we have a shed in the back for wood. Put the body in there, and then join me in the nave. You look. She looks at the two of you. I'll put tea on. You can tell me how this happened. She spares a look down at the boy, and then kind of closes the door. Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
Well, there's fire, so Druk is cold.
Okay. So you put the what do you call it? You find the shed as she described. It's just a simple latch that keeps the thing closed. You open it, place the boy in there, close it. You're trained in medicine, so you would know that like it's certainly cold enough to preserve the body. So, you know, and then this will keep it away from any carrion or
Would being trained in medicine help me with whatever kind of like embalming or preparing the body is going to be done later?
Well, I mean, I think we could understand your combination of religion and medicine to know the full burial rites.
Okay.
Right.
So so then I can offer Gisela to help with that.
Yeah. When you guys walk in, the whole place is still quite dark, but you can see a light on from a flickering candle, or I guess probably a lantern to your left, like down in the lower part of the shrine. So you guys head over in that direction. She's got water, a cast iron pot that's been kind of cranked over a cooking fire that seems to have been started. And she says it'll just be it will be a bit, but the water is on. She says, please sit. She looks at the two of you and says, what happened? Why were you in the blackened woods at this time?
So I'm gonna pull out the note and hand it to her.
She gets it, and as a refresher, let's see here, we had a lot of combat last session, so it might be a while to find that. Oh, you know what? Someone, so Sean, one of my players in the Star Trek game, he had an excellent suggestion. I'm going to create, here we go, guys, a handout that's just going to be called Character Notes.
Oh, cool.
And you guys can just add whatever.
I think I've got it.
Boom.
Seek your foe at the shattered pine along the trail to the northern ruins at midnight. Take all appropriate precautions, a friend.
You know, guys, you can feel free to add shit into that character notes thing. Okay. So, she reads this note, and she says, who wrote this for you?
We are not sure. A friend.
And you followed this?
We did.
It could have been an ambush.
It was.
We did our best to prepare for that possibility.
And what happened? So, and you think this is connected to the markings that you've been tracking?
Well, the Shattered Pine is a site of an altar to Orcus.
What?
There's it's not there anymore because we destroyed the skull, but there's a skull grown into the tree and an altar where sacrifices have clearly been taking place. And we did our best to damage the thing and presumably are going back out into the forest to try to destroy it soon.
So I'm adding something here, guys. Give me a sec.
I thought she was taking a dramatic pause.
Yeah, no, it's that I have difficulty multitasking. There you go.
Kevin had still muted.
I cannot multitask. I have realized I cannot fool myself any longer. Doesn't work.
So you hear the sound of the fire burning in the background.
Droop is warming himself by it.
Nice. And so she can see she's trying to piece this together. She says, "And what did you find out there?"
An armored figure with a mace in imitation of Orcus's own led this child out into the wastes. When we ambushed this black armored figure, it summoned up a horde of undead to face us, which we were able to smash through, but not before he killed the boy.
As you're telling her this, she grabs the symbol of Saint Yeg, the cross around her neck.
Yep. And then we were able to harm this black armored figure, but it escaped into the forest.
Fled like a coward.
So it's
So it's
still out there. How did your friend know that it would be out there?
Well, one of our theories is that it might be someone who has seen evil rites done at that place before.
So the markings of that you described, the shrine, they were unknown to me, and I'm certain, though the ruins to the north are an unholy place, and I don't know many either of our flock or those who follow the older faith that would go there. But to think that there was a place devoted to the black goat, that is deeply troubling. And this follower, he's still out there.
Still.
But how would someone so clearly aligned with the darkness, how would they be able to remain hidden, to make the markings on Hendon's cabin?
Well, it may not have been. They may have others within the town that they operate with.
Others? Others?
That's what we fear.
And that's why you were asking. That's why you were asking about Gamdar.
It is.
She stops and kind of looks out into the darkness. Wait here. She gets up and starts walking away and leaves your room, and you can hear her walking across the large open area where they normally have services. If you don't follow her, she will be gone for a period. The sound you hear is the sound of the crackling fire.
Mm-hmm.
What happens while you guys wait? Jerk is warming himself by the fire. His eyes.
He keeps tossing glances at Sir Gervain and then sighs and look back at the fire and just... He can't wait to have this day end.
Sir Gervain's gonna start the process of refocusing, and then if Sulla interrupts it, that's okay, but he's gonna start the prayers to Archangel and all that.
So Sella doesn't interrupt it. At least she does not return. But you hear her scream.
Then gonna get up and go with the sword in both hands.
Okay, so you grab the sword, you go racing across the darkened room. I think with your dark vision, or with your low light vision, you certainly have enough light from the small candles that she's left lit to make your way across this room. Your sound of your heavy boots, loud against the wooden floor. The boards even creaking underneath the weight of you in your armored form. You go racing up the stairs leading to the tower to where the cells of the acolytes are. And as you are making your way up the stairs, you can hear Brother Othar's voice saying, "What is it? What's happening?" But you reach it before you see him. Sella stands before the open door to Gamdar's cell. And you can see that she has moved his bed. And on the floor, there is a carved symbol of a goat's skull. She looks at you. Her eyes are full of tears. She's a wild look on her face of anguish and betrayal. What do you guys do?
Can I sense if this mark is giving off any energy like the last one was?
If you take
Or
a
is it
moment
just sort of like basically what I'm wondering, obviously all versions of this mark are going to be bad, but what I'm wondering is if this is kind of like actively doing anything, or if this is just sort of hanging out and being bad, right?
You focus or describe for us again, what does it look like when you focus your detect magic cantrip?
Sort of a glow around my head, almost like a halo.
There's no magic coming off of this, though. You know, if you were to rely on your darker instincts, you would think that it would be foolish to. It's brazen to have this carved in here. It would be foolish to infuse it with any power that might be detected as contrary to the power of Saint Yeg. Though, would Sir Yvain and... Oh! Dave, I think your fan's kicking up again. Sorry. There's a biplane. Oh, man. We're going back to Serene, baby.
Trying to run Dragon Age.
Oh, okay. So what do you call it? You got an instinct for something here, Sir Yvain, because you've seen where Brother Otar is, and because the layout of this tower, if you follow the stairs up, the next cell is Cella's. But then when it winds around directly above Othar's, directly above Gamdar's quarters would be Othar. And you sort of pass him as he's coming down. He's in his night robes as well too. And he's like, Sir Yvain, what's happened? You seem to have been in combat again. And you sort of push past him just for a second to look in his room. You know what would also be directly above that symbol? Is Brother Othar's bed. So he looks at you again. What is happening? What's going on? And he looks down. Sella, I heard her scream. What is it? And you can see she's struggling to even form words at this point. She's so upset. So, Brother Othar looks to you, Sir Yvain.
I'm going to direct him to the mark.
You're going to, like, block the stairs just in case.
Like from the bottom, you mean?
Like, wherever they are, he's going to stand between them and getting out, just in case somebody tries to rush past.
Between Sella and Brother Othar?
Yeah, to prevent either one of them from running down the stairs.
Sure. So Brother Othar comes down, and he first comes over and he embraces Sella. He's like, "It's fine. What's happened? What's happened? Where is?" And he looks in, and he says, "Blessed saints," when he sees the mark, and staggers back. Gamdar. Gamdar, where is he?
He's probably out in the forest.
In the forest? What do you mean? What's happened? Sella, explain yourself.
Oh, Droop gets it. Droop mutters, you better hope he stays out there, too.
What? Who is this? What's happened? So, we'll assume that you guys go through, and explain everything that's happened. We'll cut back to the kitchen again, and you guys are, what we see is Brother Othar sitting there with a mug of tea in his hand, a clay mug, and he's just got a 1,000-yard stare as he's processing all of this stuff. He has the look, I mean, there's that eerie, the only real glow is coming from the fireplace, but it casts shadows across his face to make it look as if he's aged a decade in the course of hearing everything. Sella has managed to recover some composure, and she is just, I mean, staring, I think, at Brother Othar with a look of concern. Druk and Sir Yvain, you've completed telling your story of what's happened. And a heavy silence, you know, is hanging in the room. If neither of you speak first, then Brother Othar says, "Do you know who the boy was?"
Not yet.
He just shakes his head.
He looks up at Sella and she says, "I don't think he was one of the faithful." And he just nods his head. "Perhaps one of the farm families, then. They tend to favor the older ways." "I'll ask Ballo. I'm sure he'll know."
So you know about Ballos?
He looks up. "Oh, of course."
Troops of the town this small.
That's to each their own, of course, but it was surprising when I found out.
Some need time to see the way. Gamdar. And he survived, too.
Well, we're going out tomorrow to track him down, if we can.
If he was able to secret himself beneath our very noses, I don't hold hope. I'm sure you're quite capable, Druk, but if he was able to hide amongst us for so long, so successfully, if he was not killed, but will that be an end to his plots, though?
There is another reason to go out, and that is to destroy what remains of the tree and the altar upon it.
I know some men in town, woodsmen. They will be happy to help. If you keep them safe, they will fell it.
Excellent. Perhaps I hear that sledgehammers are used for getting into the Barrowmaze. Maybe we can borrow one.
He kind of smiles and he says, "An axe will avail you better."
I meant for the altar.
Oh, for the altar. Yes, I'm certain that when I explain the circumstances that Billworth will be happy to contribute to the cause. He is a follower of the saint. But it's late, and I'm old, and you are no doubt tired. Let's discuss this tomorrow.
Brother Otar, I am concerned about the possibility of Gamdar returning, unaware, but soon to be aware that we know about his allegiance. Perhaps it would be best if I spent the night here to protect you and Sulla.
If it was Gamdar, and you faced him as you described, he would surely know that it's you.
No, but he's going to know that we know soon.
I see. If you wish, but... And he looks up, and Selleck is kind of looking at him like, let him do it, you know, kind of look. And he says, very well. Your assistance would be appreciated. I will speak to you tomorrow. And he kind of slowly makes his way out and up towards his cell. What are you telling Sella? She seems to be getting a little more close, like a little closer to her normal self again, and she says, if it was him, and you injured him so gravely, do you think he could return tonight?
I'm not certain either way, but it seems best not to chance the issue.
Agreed. I will keep watch with you.
That's kind but not necessary.
She looks at you, and there's fire in her eyes at this point. She says, I just had one of my trusted brothers proven to be a traitor and a heretic. Do you think for a second I'll trust a stranger to watch us while he sleeps?
I had not considered it from that point of view. Of course.
She seems to catch herself as soon as you agree. I'm sorry. That was... Your offer was most kind. Allow me to collect my weapon. She looks at you. She says, you are welcome to stay as well, but please feel no obligation. To you, Druk.
Druk says, I have business out back. I have got to go bury my dog.
I see. Have you taken the faith, then?
Me? No. I give lip service to Hearn, but that's a bit beyond me and my ken.
I see. The graveyard is consecrated for the followers, for those who follow the saint. It's...
But don't think my dog followed anybody but me.
I see. Just outside of the fenced yard, there is an oak under which I, in the summer, often find a pleasant place to read. Perhaps that might be appropriate?
Perhaps. I hate to disturb your reading spot.
It would just be more company.
Well, then, you have a good night. And he's going to look at Sir Yvain and give him a nod, and tell him I'll see you probably late morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess, Sorlov, it's only Druk who comes in late at night, and then Druk, seeing it's only Sorlov, and he's talking to to Karg's cousin, would you bother staying up, or would you hit the sack? Or would you go bury Hair Dog?
The Hair Dog's going to get buried before he goes to the tavern, and when he enters the tavern, he's going to warm himself by the fire and just look at Sorlov and just shake his head and says, it's going to be busy in the morning. Might want to get some shut-eye.
Yeah. So Sorlov, I guess, is about to offer him a drink, but he shrugs, finishes his drink. Okay, then.
Okay. So the morning. The evening, I mean, obviously, Sir Yvain passes uneventfully, and I imagine there's not a lot of conversation that transpires between yourself and Sella. When the gray light of dawn comes, Sella, finally speaks and says, if he comes now, he'll come to an entire town woken. You should sleep.
It was good to have company on my watch.
It was good to have someone keeping watch. And she kind of takes your hand and just, squeezes it. Thank you. Pulls the bolt, opens the door, and leaves you out. And you hear it lock behind you, and you step out. What are you feeling?
Once again, mixed emotions. We're sort of almost making progress, but it's complicated, and it, kind of sucks for Brother Otar and Sulla and all that.
Okay. So you finally make your way into the Brazen Strumpet. I think that it's early enough that you'll probably pass the. You'll probably. Everyone else will either be asleep still, or whatever. So unless you're sitting up, then you're probably sleeping until, late afternoon.
Yep.
Does hold on, because you wanted to go out during the day, right?
I was thinking that, so I'm thinking if I can, obviously can't set an alarm, but if I can wake up around noon or so, that we could leave by, 2.
Sure.
Have daylight.
Do you leave any other instructions?
I
don't know what those would be, but I mean, just if you're,
I guess maybe I don't know if I assume they would know that if something was happening at the Church of St. Yig to wake me up for that.
Okay. Well, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily.
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah,
then, I'm going to say, leave that as an instruction too.
Okay. So then, it's around. Let's just skip forward to around. It's around noon when you finally, you hear a light knock on your door, Sir Yvain, and you hear, you hear a woman's voice come through, and you think it's actually probably Tacey at this point, who says, because you're going to be sleeping, she says, Sir Yvain, the sun is near its apex. I understand you want it to be woken.
Yes, thank you.
So you kind of look over towards the door, and half expecting to see something, you look down at the base of the door, and there is no note. So you get yourself up, and you make your way down into the tavern. And what you find waiting for you there is a moderately busy, day. You can see that West Littlefoot, Druk, Sorolov, and Raven are all at different places in there too. I think that, as you guys get up, I imagine that you've maybe left one of the things you said is, if you see my brother, let him know that I'll be up and have something to do. You've heard that Wes is back, so maybe Wes, you also have been kind of waiting to see Sir Yvain to see what was going on. Druk, if you would have, I think you're probably up before Sir Yvain, just from the way that you said you do your morning rituals, right? First thing.
It would have been delayed because when getting back, but
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he would have talked to Raven initially because he knows we're planning on going out again.
Sure.
And look for people who might be able to help. So he might have filled Raven in a little bit on what happened and see if he knows anybody that could help.
Yeah, sure. And then that explains why Sorolov would be sitting around too, is because Raven would have told him. So when you get up, you can see. How about Wes? What has Wes been doing this morning?
Wes is long shooting.
Okay.
Go to the edge of town and pick trees that are twice as far as they normally would be able to hit with
Sure.
relative accuracy, and he'll start doing some running sideways and shooting and just all sorts of stuff to try and improve his distance aim.
Love it. So then we'll say you've been doing that since the crack of dawn. Right out there, when there were still wisps of ice fog clinging to the field at the edge of the town, and you come back just to grab a quick bite to eat, because you've spent now probably 7 hours practicing your aim. And that's when, Sir Yvain, you come down and you see everyone waiting there. So you head over, you take a table with them, and why don't we pick up the scene from there?
How are you feeling? You look grave.
There have been dark events transpiring.
I've heard a little from Druk.
I kept it vague just in case you didn't want me to overshare.
Yeah, so I can explain all of what has gone on later, but for now, what we need to do is prepare for an expedition into the Blackened Forest to destroy a site of evil.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am with you. Your blade is my blade is yours.
Did you find an evil druid on a wyvern?
We did not find an evil druid on a wyvern. We found, well, I'll explain on the road.
Mm-hmm. Is it something best not discussed in our current location?
Well, Druk is nodding, Sir Yvain is just going to say something. It's a complicated set of events.
I see. Well,
Wes starts eyeing everybody in the place suspiciously, even the serving girl.
Okay.
Nothing like that, Wes, but...
well, is there any way we should prepare ourselves
He's
specifically for this expedition?
Brother Otar has promised a couple of woodsmen who can help us. We also will need a sledgehammer, and then whatever martial preparations would be helpful for the possibility of combat
I
along the
recommend
way.
healing potions.
Healing potions might be useful too.
And maybe a medical kit. I've been thinking about trying to learn how to treat wounds in battle. So I'm going to give that a try.
That would be helpful.
Here's hoping you don't have to try, Wes, but thank you.
Is there anything else that is going to happen before you guys head out? As promised, the Brother Othar will meet up with you guys at either the Strumpet, or if you come over to the shrine. He's got a collection of 4 guys who are woodsmen, who are familiar with the area. They have the tools, and having had it explained to them the need for that thing to be taken down expertly, the tree, then they're happy to come along with you. What do you want done with the tree afterwards? Do you just want it cut down, or do you want it cut to lumber, or what?
I was planning cut down into small enough to be firewood, basically. That's kind of what I was hoping.
Would you want to bring that firewood back here? Or...
No, just so that on another trip we could burn it.
Oh, okay. Like burn it out there.
Yeah.
Not
Cut down the tree into firewood this time, and then in another day or two go out and have a bonfire with the tree. That's kind of what I had been thinking. Because I was trying to think of what to do with it, and it seems like burn it down. Well, it's easier to cut it down and then burn it. And
Drew kind of sits up at that, and he looks around. He's like, "We shall rededicate it to the old gods by burning the corruption in the land."
Wes looks at the woodcutters. We might need to clear a little bit around it too, shouldn't we? We don't want to have that fire spread.
that's a good advice. Although there's a bit of a clearing around it anyway.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. So then, as you guys are getting the last bit of preparation done for this, it'll take you, like I said, 3 hours to get out there. Getting that down, if you're leaving at noon, that puts you out there at about 3 o'clock. It's winter, which means only 3 hours to work and then coming back in the dark. The suggestion is that you guys wait till tomorrow to do that.
Yeah, then we can do that if that's, since that makes sense.
I'm also a little tired and need to make some more arrows.
You're shooting too far. You've lost so many now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drew mumbles about losing the only slim chance we have of finding finding the thing we're after.
Mm-hmm.
So what was this thing that that was defending, or?
We'll tell you on the way.
So, Wes, this is we'll end with a scene here. You're maybe heading off to get your trying to recover your arrows. You're counting your arrows out back. You've been maybe working out there, trying to fletch and make more, and you're cutting more. You're like, need more. I need more than these. And you hear the sound of something being dropped behind you. And you kind of turn around, and what you see is a brace there. So there's a full quiver of halfling-sized, or appropriate for you sized arrows, all beautifully made, and a fairly beautifully carved, but the kind of thing that would very easily fade into the foliage and be camouflaged quite easily. Not something that attracts the eye necessarily, but something that has great detail when you look at it. And you kind of look up, and there's a tall, thin person standing there. Dark hair, and it's Valeron.
Hey, Valeron. Well met.
Wes,
You're back.
Master Littlefoot. Well met as well.
Did you go and visit your brethren in Southwest?
I did. I have been. It has been a eventful season for my people. Master Littlefoot, I've heard it told that you were one of the ones who you made fast friends of the strange gnomes that came in the city from the sky.
Oh, yeah. I lost my knife, too.
You lost your knife. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got attacked by these big beak bird things, and they put me in a bag and tried to take me into the sewers, and I had to, cut my way out, and then I dropped my dagger in the sewers, and it's gone. So. But that's okay, because I've got a really awesome bow. Thank you for the bow. It's been working really well.
You're very welcome. I've heard that you have been putting that your bow to great use, and valiantly assisted the town as well.
Well, yeah, maybe a little.
Tell me, I know that you had made friends for those in the Flying City. Do you still have friends there?
Yeah, there's Dr. Blankman and Dr. Ray and Dr. Yegon and yeah, those guys. They're like inventors and stuff too.
The ones that you took to the Barrowmaze, the ghost hunters.
Yeah, they were ghosts. They gave us a trap too. It helped against one of the ghosts, ghost troll. That year.
I've heard.
Except Badonk couldn't get it to work.
Oh, well, Badonk does not have the. He's skilled in many things, but I fear that type of exotic engineering may be beyond him, as it is me.
I don't really know how to do it.
I've heard that you and your colleagues will be leaving town, but thank you. I wonder if I might steal a moment of your time. I'd like for you to meet someone.
To meet someone?
Yes. So he leads you across town, and you actually travel over to here, somewhere none of you have ever been. The Tower of Mazza the Magnificent. And Valeron leads you over there, walks, and then kind of raps on the door. And, well, actually, I think there's probably a little chime. He pulls it and kind of clang, clang. And then there's a sound of kind of banging around from inside. And you hear from inside, someone walks up to the door, and you hear a shock as the slot opens, and there's this big beady eye is looking out.
Who is it? Who is it? Oh, Valeron. Do you have one of them with you?
And Valeron says, yes, I have Master Littlefoot.
The halfling?
Yeah, it's me.
Shock! He closes the slat and then opens the door, and he looks like if you had a wizard. Well, to be honest, I mean, he looks like a slightly younger kind of Miracle Max from Princess Bride.
Nice.
Princess Bride has been all over Twitter today, so it's been foremost in my mind.
Don't remake that movie.
Well, it's because they're trying to remake it, and there's been some
Oh.
it's been some great. No, I think that what's his name, Carrie Elwes, his response was something like, "It would be perfect. It would be a shame to ruin a movie as perfect as that one." They're so like it's reiterating the line from Princess Bride. So yeah.
Yeah, there are very, very few perfect movies in this world. Don't ruin this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Take care not to ruin this one. I saw that one.
Yeah, so good. Anyway, so he answers the door, but he's got this really big, one eye is substantially larger than the other, and he's got a bunch of like charms and kind of occult things hanging around his neck, and he's leaning on a staff. And he looks down.
At his eye.
What's that?
West stares at his eye.
He stares right back at you.
So you're one of the ones who's friends with the gnomes.
Yep. Dr. Venkman and his friends.
And their science. You know of their science.
Their signs? They had like a bunch of tinkering type things on the outside.
Tinkering things.
Yeah, their sign outside outside their building.
See, Mazza looks up at Valeron, and Valeron says, "He can be trusted." And then he looks down at him.
The science that they used, it involved spectral forces, did it not? Yes?
Yes.
And are your friends enough with them that they might be commissioned to assist with something?
I think they're all about catching ghosts.
That would be... And actually, he doesn't say that. I think that Valeron says, well, that would be of great assistance. Because you see, my people were bedeviled by a plague of ghosts. And if they have a way of trapping them, they must have some way of keeping them out as well. Master Littlefoot, I know that this may be asking a great deal of you, but would you seek out your friends? We would require their assistance.
Well, if the flying city of Serene were nearby, we could just call on them.
I don't know where the city is, though I think your friend, the goblin, might.
The donk.
And
He
if you
might.
know where the city is, we have ways to get you there. And he stops and kind of whistles. And you hear this screech from up in the sky. And it's still really, overcast and whatnot. And what swoops down and lands is the biggest bat you have ever seen in your life. This thing is the size of a large horse, and it screeches. And Valeron and Mazza make no, you scramble back and grab your bow. This bat comes forward, and Valeron just kind of scritches it on the nose, on that weird kind of petal-shaped nose. And this thing kind of, and he says, "My people have long made use of these beasts as companions. With our assistance, we could give you a way to reach the flying city. And
Ride them?
yes, and you see actually on the back there is a saddle on this thing that has similar markings to what's on your quiver.
Oh, can I try?
What it is a task that takes some training, both for the bat and the rider. But yes,
Mr. Surrey Vane is pretty big. He's pretty big.
we have strong bats. Isn't that right? And the bat kind of screeches again too, and then it kind of moves its head. I know that you have a task before you, but if you and your friends could discuss this this would be of great assistance.
We'll have to figure out where Badonk went. I think he's like up and left while we were out on our way to Ironguard Mott. So we can find out where Badonk is, and we can find out how to contact the gnomes in the city of Serene. Then we can get back to you, and then we can ride the bikes.
That would be appreciated. Our people are in dire straits, and
I'll help the elves any way I can.
ha! And you hear from Mazza. Mazza kind of looks at you and or looks down and says,
See there. If you can get him to help and get them to lend their aid, I can build that then.
If Alderon says, very well. And he reaches in and he hands you something. And it looks like, honestly, like, kind of like a carved flute. It seems to be of some kind of like dried out bamboo or something similar. And there is a small bit of rope that is attached to it. He says, when you are ready, hang this in a high tree on the outskirts. And he's going to hang it up. You can hear it starts, like there's piping wind that kind of goes through it. And he says, we will know. We will know that you are ready.
Okay.
Very well. Then, I wish you luck in your task, Master Littlefoot, and I will look forward to your call. And he turns and mounts up on the bat, and he nods towards Mazza, and Mazza says, And then the bat...
An altar of Orcus tomorrow.
Mazza looks down at you.
Orcus? You're
Yeah.
going to find Orcus?
Yeah, Sir Yvain and Druk, Mr. Druk, I can't remember how his name says, but they were out in the forest and got attacked by some really bad undead creature, and then they damaged an altar, but we're going back to chop down the tree and destroy the altar tomorrow.
Is the goblin going with you?
No, I have to try and find him. He's like gone AWOL.
So he looks up at Valeron.
If this one dies, we'll have the goblin to ask anyway.
I'm not gonna die. He might be the lucky goblin. That's everlasting.
And he heads into his tower, closes the door behind him. Valeron says, pay him no mind. Time and age has made him quite cynical. I have faith in you, Master Littlefoot, and I will look forward to your message. And he reads back, I hope those arrows help. And then with a scamper, the bat kind of like takes 2 or 3 steps while beating its wings and then takes wing to the air and very quickly disappears into the thick overcast clouds. You look down at the arrows that he has left for you, and you realize that your allies may be waiting for you to head out and deal with the Shrine of Orcus. And that, guys, is where we will end our session.
Awesome.
So, XP. Let's do this. So, there's very good role playing on everyone's part. So, but I think what I'm going to do is, and you did discover that Gamdar appears to possibly be the person at issue here. So I'm going to give you guys 30 XP, 30. Those of you who are not first level, those of you who are first level, you will gain 60
Nice.
XP.
Halfway to level 2.
Hell yes! You can
Almost.
taste the sweet, savory. I guess you don't get third level spells then, but still, even closer.
No, but I get a dedication feat.
Oh, very cool.
Barbarian.
Ooh, getting and that's cool. See, it's the kind of stuff like it did not strike me that you were going to be going that route initially.
Not until the wolf died, and then somehow I'm guessing it triggered his inner orc, and he's just coming to the surface now, being animalistic. So.
Love it. That's man, I love organic growth of characters or development of characters. That's awesome.
Because I would have never seen his wolf dying, and of course it did, and then that just it traumatized him is what it did.
For sure,
So he won't get another companion until he's strong enough to protect it.
Awesome.
That's so good.
That's great.
All right. So then, for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for session 16 of our Back in the Barrowmaze campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. You can also shoot me an email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at where I am at Dungeon Musings. You can also join us on the Discord server for the Dungeon Musings, which you can find a link to in the description. We definitely keep regular chat going about this campaign and the other campaigns we run on the channel, as well as other games we've got planned, and then just other games in general. In addition, there is a link to something called Heroes Save Villages in the description of the video, and it is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. We don't monetize the channel in any way. We don't run ads. If you are inclined to toss some gold pieces or finely crafted Thorns Wild Elves arrows in the direction of the channel, I'd ask that you consider clicking through and learning a little more about the Heroes Save Villages campaign, which benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity. It's a charity that is active in over 130 countries and benefits over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children from around the world. These are kids who would otherwise not have a childhood and have a very, very difficult life. And you can see from the, if you follow through the link, the programs that SOS Children's Villages offers for these kids that really helps provide a stable and supportive and loving environment for these kids so they can actually enjoy being kids. And what hero does not want to save a village of kids? I don't want anyone to feel obligated, of course, but if you are inclined to kick some money in the direction of the channel, you can find all the different rewards we have on offer at the link in the description of this video. You can also actually buy a copy, I should mention as well. You can buy a copy of Barrowmaze itself in electronic or print copy or both by following the link to the Drive-Thru RPG. That likewise is not monetized in any way. It's just an easier way for you to find the product if you are so inclined to find it. Last but not least, I want to thank my players. Cutting back and forth through two different groups. Guys, you handled it like champs. George, Carl, John, Dave, and Arlen, thank you so much for joining me on Wednesday. This was a great RP-heavy session. I look forward to the next one. Cool. Then, until next time. Oh, and Mode, thanks so much for, what do you call it? For joining us. What level? So, Mode asked, what level do you need to be in the Barrowmaze? So, if you mean the actual dungeon itself, it depends. There's not really, like, the Barrowmaze is an old school product, so it doesn't really have stuff keyed to levels per se. There's random encounters that are in a certain level band. There are encounters at the first part of the dungeon that are not as difficult as the shit you find later on. But it's because so much of it relies on random encounters and things like that, and traps, which are, you know, not necessarily level dependent. It's tricky. What we found is, I mean, Dave, you're the one I think who's probably been in the Barrowmaze the most of everyone here. Like, seems like level 3 minimum is where before you guys start actually scouting out the Barrowmaze, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Level 1s and henchmen's are at risk. We've buried more than our share of hireling. Yeah,
that's what we're doing right now too, to give all the players the full experience of the Barrowmaze setting. You know, from first to whatever level. We've got now everyone playing two different characters: a first level henchman, or a henchman starting at first level, and then a player character at third. Third is, you know, for Pathfinder though, third is probably a good level to be able to take on a lot of the challenges early on in the Barrowmaze, and then you also, as you gain levels too, it allows you to stay longer in the Barrowmaze too. So, yes. For now though, it's not so much that we're waiting for a level; it's that the season happens to be the winter, so it's just shit keeps happening right now. So they haven't had a chance. Once the summer comes, that's where you go to get riches. That's where you go to get your stuff. Although, and that also seems to be the source of many of the troubles here as well. So. Mm-hmm. Who knows what waits for our heroes in the summer? I'm sure it's going to be terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Cool. So otherwise, yeah, and then for those who joined us live, thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, then, Friday, we're back at the Barrowmaze, and we're probably going to go with the... Well, we'll see. We may go with the group in... depending on who attends, we may go with the group in... Actually, no, Carl's not going to be there. George is not going to be there. We're not going to do the... So, actually, we'll do this Helix group again.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. Cool. Then, until next time, folks, thank you so much for joining us. And until we see you back again in the Barrowmaze, happy gaming.